Go.
Hi, out my closet. My name is Lopez, and I am a woman of trans experience. And I am here to give you my story and how it was to transition from the beginning. And hopefully, by you hearing my story, I can inspire you out there who are thinking of transition or already in the process and sometimes don't know which direction to go. So like I said, I transitioned a while back. It wasn't always easy, coming especially from a Catholic background family. You know, we was very strict in Christianity, and it wasn't just spoken about being gay or even being a woman of trans experience in my family, especially coming from a Dominican family that, especially from my father's side, that they're all machismo. It was unheard of to have anyone in the family, especially male, to talk about being gay or even transitioning. When I decided to transition, my whole family gave their back to me, especially my father's family. My mother's family not totally gave their back to me, but were trying to convince me not to do it because it wasn't good in God's eyes. And of course, you know, the regular religion stuff, and you sit there, you know, it's worse than the Jehovah's Witnesses that passes you a pamphlet because at least you look at the pamphlet, you could toss to the side, but having your family in your constant face and in your ear telling you that what you're doing is an abomination and it's wrong, you know, I ended up having to leave my house. I disconnected from my family for like a good 5 years, my first 5 years of my transition, which weren't the happiest because I felt all alone out there and I really didn't have any guidance. You know, I was in a domestic violence relationship where, you know, I knew it was wrong, but I couldn't get away because I didn't have no directions, I didn't have no family, I didn't have no friends, I didn't have anyone to turn to, you know. With that said, I had to do survival work, which is also known as sex work, in order to survive. It wasn't a happy moment either for me. It wasn't what I wanted to do. With that said, I started doing my research and wanting to educate myself while I was transitioning. And it wasn't easy, but I said I was going to stick to it. I was going to do it, and I was going to see myself through this. I had met someone who was HIV positive, and we were dating, and that made me kind of like go that route to kind of educating myself because I started hearing the needs that was out there for individuals who were newly diagnosed, you know, and I wanted to learn more about what was going on with being HIV positive. Not myself, not infected, but being affected by the virus. Because in the beginning, when I first started transitioning, the people that I did meet told me, well, you can only do two things, either be a showgirl or be a sex worker. And I was like, okay, in the beginning, the entertainment was cute, the free drinks were over, you know, but I wasn't happy with myself. I wasn't happy at all. So what did I do? I started educating myself. And I started changing the route that a lot of other girls out there let the new girls think that that's the only way we can go. Then I started volunteering for agencies. And through all this, remember, I was still transitioning, you know, going to the doctor, going through hormone therapy. And I would educate myself, and I would volunteer in organizations, and I would try to learn everything I can learn. And sort of like when you say sometimes is what's the right word? I kind of like, this was by mistake, me being a counselor. I really wasn't thinking of being a counselor. But then I started working with youth, and I started seeing the youth and the kind of like route that the message that they were getting was, oh, to be a trans girl, you have to be a sex worker. You know, and that's not the message that I wanted them to take away with them. You know, working with youth from 13 to 24, and they wanting to transition, and I'm over here listening to people like, "Guy, girl, yeah, you look over. Yeah, you should transition, and you know, girl, go sell yourself. Put an ad on Craigslist." Back then it was Craigslist. You know, now it's back pages and all this other stuff. But you know, listening to them say, I'm like, wait a second, like, why are we showing our youth that the only thing they can do if they transition is be sex workers or showgirls, you know, or don't get an education. So I kind of started counseling, and I started running groups on, you know, with the youth at the time, and letting them know, hey, you know, if you want your education, you can get it. I can help you. You know, if you don't have a GED if you don't have no GED and you want to be in a GED program, I can connect you. You could feel safe. You could transition. I actually even went as far as to having GED classes in the organization I was working for at the time where the youth were going. And some of them transitioned. You know, after a while they knew that, hey, you know, if Chanel can do it, I can do it. And that's the kind of message that I wanted to show. If I can do it, anyone can do it, because I'm not better than anyone and no one is better than me. And if you want to transition, you can. Or just get educated, do it right, seek the services out there. The services are out there. Be careful buying hormones in the streets. A lot of people are not as nice or as friendly as they claim, and let's be honest, sometimes they say, I'll sell you a shot for $20, and sometimes mix it with baby oil. And then you start having health complications. So please, if you're thinking of transitioning, make sure you educate yourself in the process, and make sure that you go to a doctor that will help you through your hormone therapy. Even if you don't have an income but you have Medicaid, or even if you don't have Medicaid but you want to transition, the services are still out there. So I invite you all to once again go on Out My Closet's Facebook page and click on my story and make sure you share it, share it, share it.